Hello my friends, in this video I want to point out the attention on what is happening on the front lines. As you might see, everything is boiling, lots of the blue, lots of the red. Let's go step by step. So in Zaporizhzhia direction, there Ukrainian army actually moved just a little bit, propelling forward in Stepnogorsk. Well, Stepnogorsk is fully under Ukrainian control, but it was also accepted by Russian military bloggers. They confirmed the Ukrainian army movement towards Plavny, and there could be the presence of few of the soldiers in this gray area, I mean Russian soldiers, but it is not significant, and Russians are incapable for attacking actions in this part of Zaporizhzhia region, so Ukraine took full advantage in Kamensk direction. But at the same time, Russians are using middle-range drones to hit Ukrainian supply vehicles in Zaporizhzhia city even. And let's click and check on one of the geolocations. Just in the middle of the streets, one of the vehicles was hit. From what I see, it's not even a military target, so locals filming FPV hit a trolleybus. It's the public transport. Yeah, on the map it is marked like that, like the burning car. Usually it goes for supply vehicles, but not in this case. And the second is the fire truck, you see. Ukraine has to use the drone protection on the trucks, and this one was damaged, not completely destroyed, but it was hit by the drone, and fire truck eliminates the fire on its own. It happened just at the gas station, so the image is geolocated, so it shows that Russia is aiming towards civilian targets, and there was an ambulance hit, I think, in Kherson yesterday, so it's of course really terrible, but it also marks the range of the Russian drones, that they're still capable to use those on further distance, around 20-25 kilometers. In the same Zaporizhzhia Oblast, but Huliapilske direction, Russians are very active with the small infiltration attacks. They advanced towards Huliapilske village. It's the first success for the last week of this scale, because Huliapilske is not a small village. You might see multiple of the households, several of the streets. Allegedly, Russia took control over that part. It was geolocated with some of the Russian flags shown, according to Russian information. Well, definitely there was the presence of the Russian soldiers, and here they publish, with some of the epic music, of course. They call this village Komsomolske, so Huliapilske. They use artillery, Solntsepok systems. About Solntsepok, I'm gonna show you one of the videos that this system is not that robust. There was the launch with some of the malfunction shell, looked really epic, and Solntsepok definitely, it's the devastative weaponry. It's just like the flamethrower, demolishes absolutely everything. It might reach even basements and trenches, absolutely everything. But the range of it is not that great of Solntsepok, so the idea, and they also hit Ukrainian vehicles here, so the idea of the Russian army is to demolish absolutely everything and to send small infiltration attacks for visible success. My friends, just a short announcement. As usual, press your like to this video and subscribe for the channel. It is very important. And also, if you can, of course, you may support my job on Patreon. The link for it is in the video description right below, or join membership of YouTube by pressing button join. Thank you for making this content possible. You're the best. And let's continue with the video. Well, if you check out the Russian map, this is Huliapilske itself, and this is Huliapilske or Huliapilske if we speak Ukrainian. And they definitely confirm that they took it under control. Here is how they took the ground. So there is the confirmation, but again they show more arrows in this place. Well, at the same time, Ukraine goes on a counterattack towards Железнодорожная, and the distance from Huliapilske is basically nothing, which means that probably it was after all a Russian small infiltration attack. Several of the Russian soldiers went there showing Russian flags. That's it. We're gonna see if there is still a presence of the Russian armed forces in Huliapilske in a couple of days. And definitely Ukraine goes on several of the counterattacks, Russia goes on attacks. The front line here is very unstable, and the gray zone is pretty much huge. It is not looking as on this map, it is way wider. And also Russians are trying to reach Mala Tokmachka. You can see that they started a new attack. They even went with the gray zone towards the same jail of Orekhov. Before they took this building roughly 1 month ago, later on were kicked out, and now they try to offense there once again. Mala Tokmachka is still the main aim for Russians. My Kostiantynivka 3 analysis says that Ukrainian drones were successful, so this is the prison itself, and Russians were stopped. 180th Mechanized Brigade hits building in Mala Tokmachka, Zaporizhzhia Oblast. Here's the video itself, some of the building there close to the prison. It was kaboomed, and there were several of the Russians, Bukhanka van. Russians themselves, in a way, they look like hobos, not the soldiers, because they just go to show the flags. So the situation in Mala Tokmachka is pretty much standard. This settlement is kind of small, but at the same time it's very long, and it almost reaches Orekhov. Orekhov is the main defense hub of Ukrainian army in this place. In Huliapilske, Russia also goes with attacking vectors towards multiple of the villages. So they intensify their attacking actions. With the summertime, Ukraine tries to cut Russian supplies. Sometimes it helps, but Russia was capable to allocate to Huliapilske enough resources, as well as in Donbas region, if we speak about Kostiantynivka direction. And here, unfortunately, Ukrainian army has losses, and supply vehicles here were hit, and yeah, Ukraine tries to eliminate all of those Russian vectors, sometimes counterattacking. In Pokrovsk direction, Russia went with a small attack towards a Novopidgorodny village, a very small one. They put one flag. Okay. In Pokrovsk area itself, there is no significant movement, but Russians are using artillery, drones, Ukraine also. The main battle is now going more to the east in Kostiantynivka city, and there Russians, they are already in the central part. We may check out this map with the vector, so Russians definitely went inside just recently, I would say yesterday. They also expand the territorial gains in the southwestern part near Bereztok, and Ukraine for now is not able to keep lots of the infantry forces in Kostiantynivka. Some people say, oh, Ukraine is in lack of the infantry. But Russia constantly bombs Ukrainian infantry with aviation gliding bombs. Yeah, it's very hard. Gliding bombs, they really matter, even in 2026. So then Russians demolish entire blocks. What's the use in keeping the infantry there? That's why Russia demolished everything and they went with their infantry. And as you might see, Ukraine is now trying to use aviation gliding bombs for the same purpose. But Ukraine has less resources, less bombs, and they're less powerful compared to the Russian ones. They have, for example, FAB 3000, FAB 5000, and they definitely demolish group of the buildings. So with Kostiantynivka, it is understandable that the situation for Ukraine is getting even more difficult. Also, Ukraine has extra losses in Kramatorsk. Well, here it's again deceased civilian after Russian attack in Kramatorsk, so Russians are using drones on civilians. So when you see those images, it doesn't mean that it's the Ukrainian military suffering. Not always, yeah. Those are civilian casualties, especially right now. Then Russia intensified those strikes using drones. This is the ambulance, for example, in Kherson, a Ukrainian one. And Russian drones hit this vehicle right in the forward part. I think driver is gone, but medic on the right, she escaped. Russian military channel Rybar also paints the similar picture in Kostiantynivka direction, but they also say that Ukraine tries to send reinforcements. Plus Ukraine is on a counterattack, a small one still towards Nikolaevka or Mykolaievka in Ukrainian, close to the Chasiv Yar. Well, Russia expanded the gray zone, and strangely, but Russians paint it mostly as the gray zone as it really is. But they put some of the red here. Okay, from Kostiantynivka let's go to the north. Kramatorsk itself, already mentioned Slovyansk, and the fight continues in Alexandrivka. The Russian infantry was spotted there a few days ago, I think 2 or something, but Ukraine started the counteroffensive towards Kryva Luka, or near Kryva Luka, and it was confirmed both by Ukrainian and the Russian sides. Plus independent observers, so Kryva Luka is here, and south from it, it goes Ukrainian counteroffensive. Over here, Ukraine tries to bypass the settlement, encircling it. Well, there's pretty much a good chance for it, because the bottleneck for the Russian army to exit, well, this is the gray zone after all. But anyways, there is the presence of the Russian armed forces in Kryva Luka, so Ukraine has the chance to for the full encirclement of the small Russian group and entire village. Meanwhile, Russians continue the counterattack actions towards Alexandrivka. They're getting close to this obstacle, the war obstacle that goes from this water reservoir in Slovyansk and goes to the south. Yeah, probably I should move my picture here. My forecast this year that Russians will occupy this area between the river and the Ukrainian defense line and their current position. So something like that, it is the Russian maximum success in 2026. It's already been half a year, so they need half a year for this advancement. I think they could be successful. If they're not, it means that they're completely useless. In the Kharkiv region, the losses both from Ukrainian and the Russian sides. Ukrainian infantry sometimes is in action. In the northern part of Kharkiv, Russia tries to go to Huliapilske, one of the small settlements, because in Vovchansk they were fully stopped, so they are looking for the possible variants of how to occupy more of the territories of Ukraine, and they cross the Russian border in the new area. In Crimea, we have the geolocation of the recent Russian losses because of the Ukrainian middle strikes. Here are those images presented to us by Ukrainian drone army. Magyar himself, he publishes everything of that, and those are the points. The most recent attack happened very close to the Kerch Bridge on the Russian patrolling ship, and I recommend you to watch my previous video where I told about this one. Well, at the same time, Russia is also losing the air defense, supply hubs, command centers, headquarters, trains. Everything of that is being targeted, also Russian barracks. And about the ship that was hit, it's named Boyki. We have higher resolution images, and we have the video from the eyewitness who filmed it. It happened in St. Petersburg, the port of Kronstadt. The ship is gone, so it's completely devastated by the fire. There were two of the strikes. You might see that the part that carries the antenna, it fell down, and there is the internal fire. The smoke and fire comes from inside, so now it's just a scrap metal. It's even useless to restore it. It's better to build a new one, of course, because even the damaged construction of the ship requires lots of the maintenance work. And the restoring of the heavy damaged ship, you never know what it might happen. It will never be the same, so I'm sure that it will be written off from the Russian Navy. And the middle strikes are still in action. This is the Russian refueling truck on fire on this very interesting road from Rostov-on-Don till Crimea. Driver decided to risk. Well, I guess driver is okay, but not the truck.
Друзья, бензин поехал в Крым.
Okay, sometimes Russia is sending convoys of the refueling trucks to Crimea. Maybe they are splitting later on, but yeah, still they have those supplies. However, way less than before, because many companies refuse to go there. There's the huge risk from Ukrainian Hornet drones. Alright, now let's go back to the front lines, because the situation for the Russian drone operators in Donetsk airport is terrible. You might see their cars and themselves. They were trying to launch some of the Shahed drones, but everything went not according to plan, because Ukraine decided to film them, yeah, from the drones. Their vehicles, everything was just visited. Yeah, can we call it visited? Well, yeah, convoys of the Russian vehicles. Convoys. This is Donetsk airport, and Russians are using it to launch some of the Shaheds. Of course, it will not be successful. Yeah, sorry for the watermark. So this is the TOS Solntsepok, TOS S1, or how to call it. You can see that one of the missile went out, but the booster itself stayed in the system. And the system started to burn. Sorry, not the system itself, not the unit, but the nearby shell. Yeah, after all, it wasn't damaged. Yeah. Everything went fine for it, sadly. The Russians panicked a little. They went to this BTR, but later they went through the same road. The shell is here, it was burning. Yeah, malfunction happens, but Solntsepok, of course, it's the very devastating weapon. The good thing that the range is short, and Ukrainian drones are capable to reach many of the Solntsepoks, were capable and will be capable. Multiple of the videos of Ukrainian drones have already been shown. Yeah, in this video it was mostly a Frontline update plus some of the kabooms, and my friends, please support my job on Patreon. The link for it is in the video description right below, or join membership of YouTube channel by pressing button join. Obviously if you can, but with your support you're making my job possible. Also, don't forget to press your like to this video and subscribe for the channel. Stand by for more updates. I hope to film video in a few hours, because I have something to say about Zelensky and Putin, and Putin's interview plus Zelensky's special letter to Putin personally. Could be interesting. Well guys, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.